Alright, what is up, Timmy Academy? It is Friday morning, the 5th, I think? Yep, it's the 5th, February 5th. And I just got back from DC last night. I was picking up a large collection from just north of DC. Me and Kevin had been talking for about maybe a month or so. He had a large collection from the 90s. And it took us a while to meet up. In that time, spikes have happened, and he probably wound up making an extra couple grand just on timing. I've got a bunch of footage from when we met up, so that'll be part of this video. This is going to be a nice hour-long video or so. We're going to go over the cards, and then I'll do a little intro, and then we'll have, the footage of just me and him kind of shooting the breeze and going over the collection about 5 minutes after we met. So, what I did is last night, when I got back home around 10 o'clock or so, I started breaking everything down into just piles of stuff. So we've got like the smaller, and there's some mid-tier stuff in here too. This is all like stuff that will immediately get sold, uploaded to TCG Player. Some of the bigger stuff will get put on Facebook. This is all non-reserve list, so this is immediate sell. This stack is all reserve list. There's probably about 300 cards here. And we'll just go through a small stack to start. A lot of it's smaller stuff, because there was just, it's a mid-90s collection, and there's just, tons of onesie, twosie reserve list stuff. And this is the stuff that I like to, set aside, and it doesn't really cost much when you're buying a collection to set it aside. And the hopes is that, Sarah Bestiary, like Baron Singer, goes up to $20 one day. Now, that day might be 10 years from now, but if I've got 40 copies 10 years from now, well, cool. So I went through and pulled out all the little reserve list things I can find. I'm sure there's more hiding in the bulk. And as anyone who does this knows, it's tiresome to go through and pull out all the little tiny reserve list stuff, but I try to do the best as I can, and I don't generally sell legacy bulk, so usually it sits around anyway. So I've got a small pile over here. I'm just going to go left to right, and you know what this video is. We just look at the cards in the collection. I already stripped it, stripped the bulk out. We got a lot of stuff here, a lot of cool stuff. The collection was beautiful. Kevin and his wife were awesome people. We actually sat down and had a beer and played some Magic, and it was wound up staying there about 3 hours and hanging out. Just one of those feel good collection buys where it's more like meeting a friend than doing a business deal. So very, very, very happy and ecstatic, and we'll probably stay in touch. And every time I'm driving up the East Coast, maybe I'll swing by and play some Magic. So this is stuff I set aside that I need for some full sets I've been building recently. I've been on Tempest Block, the Wrath Cycle, and I had some holes in some of the sets, so I needed some reanimates. The couple really nice condition Force of Wills, I set these aside because I'm going to start building alliances next. And I have one full set that I got from Greg back in New Orleans, but these were really nice condition, so I didn't want to let go of them. I'll probably, with these two, and there's some Sildevi excavations and Thawing Glaciers and stuff somewhere in here, I'll probably start putting together another 2 full sets of alliances. Eladamri, Lord of Leaves. This one's not in great condition. You can tell it was played with, which is awesome. It's not terrible, though. Probably LPMP. But, crazy enough, the third set of Tempest I have, this is one of the few cards that's missing. The Allurn is there, Intuition's there, but this Eladamri is missing. So Sylvan Library, I've got most of a set of 5th, but I think I'm missing the Sylvan because I keep selling them out of the sets. This one's nice condition, so hopefully that'll get slotted in. And then just a couple more Tempest bigger ones that are needed for that full set. So that's exciting for any full set collector. Whenever you come across near mint copies of something you're missing, it's like you're like turning into a kid on Christmas. Now, Kevin started playing in Japan, which he'll tell you all about. But he's got all these really nice condition foreign cards. Sean, if you're watching, these will be set aside for you. A friend of mine, Sean, look at that. So this is FBB 4th edition. But like that black border personal incarnation just looks beautiful. There was some good stuff. Channel, Lure, the Animate Dead. I had no idea that in 4th edition FBB this is like a $20 card or so. Jandor Saddlebags. And then we go into some Mercadian Masks. These are all Japanese. We got Iron Star, Keldon. So yeah, I mean, nothing crazy in here. I think this was the best hit. I just happened to look it up. I didn't notice it while we were there. So Kevin, if you're watching this, I owe you a 20 spot. I'll bring you up a 6-pack of some nice beer next time. So this is all foreign. Unfortunately, there was no awesome hit in Mirage. There's actually no real hits in Mirage. There's a lot of good value in Mirage here and there. Tombstone Stairwell and Shallow Grave, and but the rares were a bust and there were no tutors. But that's Italian, I believe. And then there's the deck box of the 4th edition. And then there's some Mercadian Masks in there as well. So that'll all get set aside. That's the foreign pile. And there actually might be some foreign in here as well. There was a stack of pretty nice condition foil legacy lands. I think there's 27 of them in all. And this is something I kind of set aside, and I'll probably do a legacy foil post some point soon, because I'm looking over at the shelf and there's about 300 legacy foils set aside, so I'll probably put them all in a binder, make a video or take a bunch of pictures and just post them as a lot deal. So these will go over there. And surprisingly, the lands sell actually better than some of the bulk. But usually it's like the unlands for me. I set them aside, stack them up, or like misprints like this, good example. He called this the Fireball Mountain, I think, because of the little ink error here. So I thought that was pretty cool. So that'll get set aside in my misprints pile. We've got an Unlimited Mountain. Beat to hell. Absolute in a bicycle wheel played on concrete, like feels like snakeskin. It's so good. I love it. And then I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but I've got this like weird. It's not like my Lightning Bolt obsession. It doesn't like bring me joy like that does. But these Tron lands, I just stack them up and stack them up, and they're almost always near mint condition. I just keep stacking them up and stacking them up like some neurotic, strange bird. So we got another little stack of these. We're probably nearing the 1,000 point. We have to be over 500, because I feel like every collection I get from the 90s, which has been a lot lately, is 25 to 50 of these, and there's another like 50 stack right there. So we've got to be nearing 1,000. So that'll get set aside. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. If anyone wants like 1,000 Chronicles Tron lands, just message me. Mana Short. some more foreign stuff. Italian Legends. And I guess since Legends and Italian Legends are going up, I guess I'm going to start keeping Italian Legends. I just keep coming across them, and I don't know. I haven't decided yet. We got some more Legacy foils. We've got the two. I don't know if the other side of BFM is in here somewhere. There was a large stack of unglued. But we've got the two most expensive cards in unglued. Those are on the list. And then just some more Legacy foils. Nothing crazy. I think Whirlpool Drake is probably worth a couple bucks. Oh, and then a Volraz Dungeon. Excuse me, it's the morning, and I'm usually not up this early. And a couple unglued Pegasi. So this is just like my weird stuff set aside pile. Foreign cards. Stuff to just put in other strange piles. So nothing crazy exciting there. So this is reserve list. We're not going to go through everything, but I think the bottom has a lot of cool stuff. This whole stack, I mean, like, there's Allurans. Alright, we'll go through when the sleeves end. Because a lot of these have been going up recently. I know you guys have been following the reserve list spikes, and even the smaller stuff has gone up. So I think a lot of the value, not a lot of the value, but the value of his collection went up significantly. I think actually he had sent me a screenshot 3 or 4 days previous to coming up, and the main list was at 15,700 or something like that, and a week before it was at 15,200, and by the time we met up, it was up over 16,000. So you can just see these smaller cards are inching up tick by tick. The duels inched up too. So we've got some medium stuff, some small stuff. Mirage, I think, is the largest. There's a Baron Singer, which is a thing now. Or two of them. Mirage has the largest pool of cards on the reserve list, I think, of any set. Just from looking at the lists, bunch of Merchant Scrolls. There's probably more under here. There's an Opalescence. Legion of the Hollows. I don't know why, but I feel like this card is undervalued. Squirrel tokens and I don't know. Recycles. Beautiful. We actually we were talking about the folios and how awesome their artwork was before we left. We were both a big fan of the folio artwork. Alluran, I think that's the only one. City, Hall of Gemstones. Some like mid-level stuff. There's Recurring Nightmare, Tombstone Stairwell, Bosium Strips, Triangle of Wars. There's just so many small reserve list things that have gone from $1 to $2, $2 to $5, $5 to $10, $10 to $20. That move is happening so quickly. That's that stack. And as it goes up, more people are buying and buying and buying and buying. And a lot of people think these prices are going to stick. There's obviously Didgeridoo is, I think it's like $40 now, 30 or 40 bucks. There's a couple copy artifacts, a couple Brain Geysers, Fork. Of course, Revise is the thing right now. Wheel of Fortune is the thing right now. Because of this collection and the Brain Geysers, the copies, I had some copies and some forks. I didn't have an extra wheel sitting around. I have a couple fast bonds. I think I'm going to put together another full set of Revised. Yeah, it might just be without the duels, and then I'll slot the duels in if I come across all of them in one shot. But it seems like the time to do it. Palincron, a couple Palincrons, a couple Dominating Lycids. Treachery just went up. I actually gave one of these to my quote-unquote intern not too long ago, right before the spikes. So I'm happy to get one back. Urtai, Time Spiral. I must have... These sat at 100, and they weren't affected by the... They were affected by that first spike that happened end of last year, where they moved from like 60 to 100. And then they just stopped selling for some reason. I had so many of them that I just was selling them off a little bit. Well, there's like... happened to be 6 or 7 in my coffers, and they just moved to like $250, so sweet. Some more smaller stuff. Curse Scroll is the thing now. I think has overtaken Scroll Rack, simply because it's on the reserve list, and Scroll Rack got reprinted in Commander Legends, so that's how quickly things can change. Curse Scroll was like $3 forever, and Scroll Rack was like $60. Crazy. I'm waiting for Ring of Gix to value up. One of my favorite cards to play as a kid. You know, it's like an Icy Manipulator, except it's got the Echo cost. So you could essentially run 8 Icies in your deck with Ring of Gix. It's on the reserve list. It's worth about $1. I might spec on this one. You heard it here, folks. I'm buying out Ring of Gix. I probably already have 30 copies of it. Jester's Mask, Mana Web, the Big Purple Hippo. Should that be the thumbnail? The Big Purple Hippo. Firestorms, Weather Seed, more Recycle, Survival, big one. Earthcraft, big one. Humility, another big one. And then we got some smaller stuff. Some Scorch Runes, which has actually been making some moves. Oh man. Oh, this, when I pulled this out of the sleeve, this made... This, as Slug would say, this got my nature so hard it made my back hurt. Oh man. It is really nice near mint. There's a, let's see if I can, there's a tiny bit of clouding here on the bottom, but this thing is beautiful. Look at the light hitting it. It is absolutely gorgeous. I may start grading cards simply for this card right here. I'm actually going to put it in a different sleeve. All his sleeves, True 90s collection, were those Ultra Pros from back in the day that didn't really come up to the top of the card. So yeah, I got to take all these out, put them in new sleeves, the things that deserve the sleeve. I'll just leave that there. That's, I think that's... I sold a Second Chance foil a year ago, and I've been kicking myself ever since because it's reserve list and it's old school legacy, like it's never getting printed again. And I used to just kind of be like, whatever, I'm not into foils enough to want to keep it, but man, the reserve list foils, I think this is like 600. So we've got a bunch of these smaller, onesie twosies. There's other stuff. Primal Rage is like $3-4 card. Choke is $1. Primal Order, like all this small stuff. Sarah Angels, Brainstorms, Counterspells, Animate Deads, Library of Lang. All these things in 90s collections that just, they stack up. There's tons of them. This will take me forever to go through and upload on TCG Player and grade and everything, but essentially this will help to pay the fees for everything else. All the cards in this stack that I just pulled are probably $1 to $2 cards, and I'll net maybe 50 cents on them. But you stack them up to the few hundreds, and it turns into a few $100, and it helps to offset the shipping cost or stuff like that. Now there are some, I'm not going to go through all of these, but there are some better than Limdual's Vault, Gemstone Mines. Okay, so we're starting to get into the list of things. Okay, so Cursed Totem, Jet Medallion, Ruby Medallion, Sapphire Medallion, Coat of Arms. There's a Mana Vault. There's good stuff in here. I just kind of broke it down as things that were going to get sold immediately. There's City of Brass, Brushlands, Strip Mines. There must be, I don't know, 10 strip mines in this collection. And there's some stuff in here that I normally wouldn't pull aside, but stuff's so crazy. Like, I'm starting to think that 4th edition Savannah Lions, I haven't checked the price in forever because it's 4th edition Savannah Lions, but my guess is it's worth $1 or $2 now. Mystical Tutors, there's a bunch of tutors in here. You know, so I got to go through and pull aside and see what's going TCG Player, what's going Facebook. But this was just kind of the non-reserve list stuff. Mind Twists, which have gone up. Mana Flares, which have gone up. Ball Lightning, I'm sure, is a couple bucks these days. We got Worldly Tutors, Birds of Paradise, Wrath of God, and Armageddon from Revised. I think Wrath of God is has gone to $20 is the last I saw. Just blows my mind. We got a White Border, Enlightened. Yeah, I mean, Necropotence. Whew. I might even slot together another full set of Ice Age or 4 because it's such a big set to build, but you know, I might just set aside some of the stuff, build it later. We got a Tainted Pack, Vampiric Tutor. This I need to get rid of ASAP. I feel like a reprint is coming at some point. It's too high value, not on the reserve list. Odyssey. We got some more Cursed Totem. Bunch of Mana Flares, Blood Moons, Winds of Change, some more Wastelands. As you see, I pulled aside one for a full set, and then we'll get rid of the other two. I think they're all near mint. Citadel Pain, I love seeing those. You know, so there's good stuff, $1 stuff, all mixed in, Burgeoning, Worldly Tutor. So that's kind of what these two piles are, is stuff that's... Essentially, this is going to be the profit in the collection. We've talked about this in the past. The onesie twosies pay some of the shipping and some of the fees. The 5s to 10s are really your meat of where you're going to make your money in the collection. And then these are where you pay back your capital. I'm going to start keeping LP near mint duels. These are all played. There's some LPs in here. But I'm kind of known as the guy who sells duels on the regular. So I have a bunch of people putting together full sets. So like some of these will go into full sets. Some of them are like LP minus, so price might have to be adjusted on them. But this essentially will cover about half of the collection. There's 15 duels here. We had to chop off some cash off the top because we were going off TCG low on a scan app, and so I had to go in, grade all the duels. When I got there, it was a big hit to the top line, but it actually didn't. I mean, we were guessing between 10 and 11 grand, and that's kind of where we got. Tried to value up as much as possible. There was a stack of beta lands in really nice condition that we valued out and tossed in there at the end. But oh man, excuse me, I need the coffee. This will kind of recoup a lot of my capital. Probably about half, I would say. There's probably $5,000 here in duels. And then, these are all rough condition, but there's, rough condition duels are selling right now because the price has gone up. A freaking Unlimited C in near mint LP condition is over $1,000. So like MP is sitting in the 750 range. It's just crazy. And Trop and LP is up over 8. People want played duels because they want to play with them. And so, yeah, HP duels are selling. And then we've got some Unlimited that was kind of mixed in with revised. There's nothing of note in here. We had a couple band cards. Set those aside. I'm just going to stack these up forever and laugh. Of course, a bajillion lightning bolts to add to the collection. We had a couple antiquities, a couple legends. It looks like maybe one pack of legends was bought. You're gonna laugh when you see the rare. And then, oh wait, maybe there were 2 packs. Yeah, probably 2 packs of legends bought. A bunch of dark. He said there's a full set of the dark in here somewhere. I haven't come across the big ins like Goblin King and Preacher and all that stuff yet. But they might be in here. What is it? Yeah, like I see all the usual suspects and the commons are there, but I haven't really seen a lot of the uncommons or rares. They might be somewhere else, hiding somewhere. I don't know. So I'll have to go through a little more closely. But that's all dark bulk. I'm trying to get to the gooder stuff. That's right. I said gooder stuff. Healing salve, amnesia. A little more legends, some more dark, some more legends. Dark bulk. There's a beta invisibility. There was like 4 beta cards besides. No, there were 2 beta cards? Yeah, Mana Short, and so he must have bought those. Look at that Lady Orca. So there must be 2 packs of legends, because there's 1 rare. Couple Ristic Studies, those get set aside. I love that art. Look at that. That's so good. Sorrow's Path. Meek Stones to add to the Meek Stone. There's an unlimited Nevin Rouse disc. Copy Artifact. More bolts. An Earthquake. Redurin. So you buy 2 packs of legends and you pull an All Hallows Eve? What? I probably overpaid for this. The TCG low was $5.99, but when I went on TCG Player and actually looked, this first off is in about moderately played condition, but low is $5.99, but it's actually selling around $300, $350. So, I probably overpaid for it, but that's okay. I think Kevin's refinancing his house with it, so I was happy to give him a couple bucks on top. So we got a nice Mana Short here. She's played, she's loved, but she will be loved. And then a couple more Lotus Veils. Has anyone noticed? Lotus Veil went up to $40. $40. I bought in at between $12 and $20, and I have 35 or so. And now I just keep getting them in collections. Lotus Veil will be $100 card. You better go buy them. I'm going to beat you to it. Buy them all. So here's I think these ones are played, and these were just like, these are beautiful. The centering is pretty good too. These might actually get graded. The centering's a little left to right, but beta lands and then just a single Urza's power plant. So that's the meat of the collection. Obviously, lots of fun stuff. There's money to be made here. Duels will get sold probably in the next couple days. Replenish, I don't think is going anywhere. Let's get a nice shot of that. So, yeah, we'll kind of go into the chatty bits next. All right, cool. We're recording. So, tell me how you got into it.
Okay, I was in the Navy, stationed in Japan, and there was an Air Force guy that had kind of introduced me to it sometime, I want to say like summer of '94, I guess.
So when did it drop? It was late in '93, right? Like October or December?
I don't remember. I mean, I had a chance to kind of get in on the ground with it, but there was just a lot going on, and I didn't have time to mess with it, so I didn't really get into it until '95. But shortly before I left Japan, I kind of hooked up with this guy. I started playing a little bit, and like the first time I ever played against another person was this Air Force guy, and he had like a mono black just destruction, like
Hippies and Dark
so
Ritual.
here's what I remember. Okay, I remember the Black Lotus, I remember the Dark Ritual, and I remember the Mind Twist.
Oh, Mind Twist.
Before
Choose
I
on
ever
Jin?
before I
Too?
ever drew a card. And so on my first turn, I drew one card and went, I'm done,
Oof.
and was dead a few turns later. It was ridiculous.
Wait, did you learn to play in Japan?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah,
awesome.
So that's where I started. Shortly thereafter, like October, November time frame, I actually I was sent to Florida for aircrew school.
Okay.
So that was, it was 6 or 8 weeks. I don't remember how long it was, but it was just Monday through Friday. Your days were, get up, you go run, you swim, you're in class. It's very busy, long days. But we were left alone on the weekends, and the first day I had off, I just opened up the Yellow Pages and found
A card shop.
a card shop, because
Right.
I had got into it and didn't have an outlet. I had my
Right.
little, one box of cards.
It was
and
probably like a comic shop or like a
It was,
sports card shop or something like that.
It was
Because there wasn't really LGSs back in the day.
I'm trying to think of what they were. Like, as far as I know, it was just a magic shop, because that's the only thing that was
Really?
going on in there.
Interesting.
There had to be like other cards or maybe comics or something, but like it was exploding right then. Like it was
Yeah,
blowing
that's
up.
true.
But I figured out kind of like where the place was. I went down to the front desk there at the place I was staying, and I said, "Hey, where's the?" And they said, "Oh, you just go up such a highway, and it's past, whatever." And that ended up being like a 20-mile walk. It was like all day. It was like my whole day. But I got there, and I mean, everybody was really cool, and they welcomed me in, and we played till like a dumb midnight or something stupid. Went to like the local pancake house, and somebody gave me a lift home. But from that point on,
You were hooked.
I had
Yeah.
hookups, and that I didn't have to walk 20 miles more than
True.
5 times.
True. How long were you in Florida for?
About 8 weeks, I think.
Oh, okay.
6 or 8 weeks. I spent a year in DC going to school after that for, I was learning Romanian.
Huh.
So I was a linguist.
Oh, that makes sense.
Russian was my original language. They sent me to DC for the Romanian, and I spent a year there. And it wasn't too hard to find some places, where people were playing.
Sure. Big metropolitan
My
city.
wife thought it was very. She's like, "Yeah, you're picking up high school kids and dropping high school kids off and stuff." I'm like, "They don't have rides, And my start had been where I was on foot and didn't have a way to and from
Sure.
anywhere, so
So
it didn't really seem weird to me. But she
Yeah.
she actually mentioned it a couple of days ago. She's like, "That was really weird." I'm like, wait a minute.
the magic community
Yeah.
spreads across many generations. How old are you?
49.
49, okay.
Yeah.
I'm 33. I started in 95 in the Ice Age. I
Okay.
was 8
Right.
or 9.
Yeah.
I have an older brother. Him and his friends played a little bit, and I remember the first day learning, seeing Power Sync from 4th edition or something like that, and being like, "This art's super cool." And then I just wanted to be
Is
like
that the
my
one-
big brother.
That's the one. Is that the one I call Condiment Blast with the mustard?
Yeah, the mustard hit.
I always played it as Condiment Blast. I cast Condiment Blast. Now it's what? Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I
it's
call it.
that art is just so iconic.
Yeah,
I still
and
find
going through
them
it now.
man.
Going through it now, like the last few weeks has just me been slowing down a lot to look at some of the art and go, man, do I really want to go on this?
So why are you letting go of the collection?
It just started as the holidays were a bit rough,
Sure.
and so I was going to sell a few cards. And the last time I did this, it was for Christmas money in November in 2019, and that's
Okay.
when I sold a handful of cards,
Sure.
for a couple $100 each, right?
Sure.
And it was on eBay, and a bunch of people were hitting me up privately saying, "Hey, I'm a dealer, would you like to do that?" And I was really just creeped out by it. Right?
Sure.
It really was I don't want to do it.
Well,
But-
especially if you're selling single cards. I mean,
Right, yeah, and that's all I was really trying to do was sell a few cards to
Right.
make some Christmas money, and,
Sure.
and that was it. And I just really bothered. For some reason, when you asked me, I was like, let's talk about this, because I had 6 bookshelves like 6 of those down in the basement, just crammed with books. And we're hoping at some point to like sell this house and move somewhere warmer, somewhere closer to home.
Come down to North Carolina.
I'm not
man.
from around here, right?
Where are
I'm
you
from
from?
Indiana.
Oh, okay.
So we kind of settled here by accident as a result of the military.
That makes sense.
Well, you can't move a house with 6 of those crammed with books.
Sure.
So I was going through clearing that, and this is just part of,
The clearing out.
and I estimate, I said, if I sit down and do all the work, I said, I think, I sat down, I had a text with a friend of mine I was talking to him about, he's like, you should do it. It was when we shut down for the pandemic, like our stores closed, and I was home for 2 weeks, and I said, I should like go through this. And I was talking to a friend, and I said, I could probably make between 15 and 18,000 if I really like put in all the effort and sat here and sold every single card that I could sell. That's what I probably could make.
After fees and stuff, it's probably not
Profit?
that much.
Yeah, my take-home pay would.
Right, you do that much in sales.
Yeah,
Put it this way: I did $100,000 in sales on TCG Player last year. I think they gave me $78,000 of that.
Wow. Yeah.
So
Still.
it's still good. It's roughly 22%, but you got to think too. A lot of those cards were like anywhere from like 80 cents to $1.50. So you just get crushed on because there's always there's like a 30.
Because you still gotta put a
cent.
stamp on everything.
Then you got to put a stamp and a top loader, and like at the end of last year, somewhere in between June, it was like when the pandemic was really kicking off.
Yeah.
Supply chain for top loaders just got insane, so they spiked from like $70 to $100 a case.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna get a bunch of top loaders out of it, so that's nice.
Oh, sweet. Oh, those are sleeves though. No, the actual the hard cases.
You're talking about these little where are they?
Because every envelope I send has a top loader.
Okay. So you're talking about the hard ones, right?
Yeah, like the.
Like right there behind you, underneath that box.
Yeah, exactly. Like
You're
these.
using those.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, is this a 4th edition?
That's just an empty box.
That's cool. I actually got my
So
first
the story
one of
with that, the 4th edition, was when I was stationed in Hungary. I wasn't even stationed. I was deployed in Hungary, doing some stuff, and it was weird. It was like 3 little separate bases, like a quick shuttle ride from one to the other.
Sure.
And there was like a place where you could sit and watch movies and play ping pong or billiards, they had video games and whatever set up.
That sounds like
And
cool.
so on my days off, I would catch a shuttle over and hang out. And they only had 2 movies. They had G.I. Jane and Starship Troopers, because those are the only 2 movies I remember from that time. But there were a couple people playing Magic, and so we got into it and started playing.
Sure.
And I found out there was a military Magic league. Oh, I have a play mat somewhere.
Really?
Like a Magic military league play mat.
That's pretty cool.
But they literally gave me the keys to the trailer. They said, "Hey, you want to run this?" And so every weekend, I would just get the keys. I'd open up the thing. How many people are playing? I would grab one of those for each person playing on Saturday. And I said, "Here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go."
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And we did like...
Because these were just starter decks, right?
Right,
Not starter decks, but the tournament packs.
It was, it's probably it's probably like a starter and a couple boosters or something. And you get the little beads.
Oh, 260 card decks. That's what
Yeah,
it was.
there you
right.
go.
That's
But we
right.
would take
Revised was actual starter deck or tournament packs or
Yeah.
whatever they used to call it.
We would take that and you would have like 20 minutes to build your decks. And on Saturday, we would do tournaments based on whatever you had in the box.
That's pretty sweet.
Then we would come back on Sundays, you could bring whatever you wanted.
Oh, and do a
There
free
were
for all.
tournaments on,
That's kind
on
of cool.
Sundays.
That was before. What year was that? Like 96, 97?
I was there in 98. Yeah, it had to be 98 because...
So there was type 1 and type 2 at that time, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was trying to get into judging at that point.
I got you.
Just because I thought it was a cool thing to do. I really liked the rules of Magic, like like understanding the timing of things and whether instants and interrupts and like what all that meant. But it wasn't much long after that I really got out of it.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I
Was it
went
just
straight
no play
from.
group?
I went straight from Hungary to Bosnia, basically, and I spent 6 months in Bosnia, living in a tent, playing with one friend in a tent in Bosnia. And I was talking to him. I told him that I'm doing this, and he says, I still have some of those cards you gave me. I'm like, wow, that's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I
But I
mean,
never really played after about 98
really.
at all.
So it probably stops around Urza's block or
Most
so?
of it, yeah, most of it. There is some newer stuff in there. Like I'll buy, I used to buy like random packs
Sure.
just here and there to kind of flip through them and look at the art and see how things changed.
Mhm.
There's I think maybe 2 packs of Mirrodin,
Oh, true.
and that's it.
That's funny.
And
That's pretty.
kind of where it ended.
You know, I've been running into the market. Obviously, is going crazy right now, and so a lot of people with these '90s collections that have been holding on to them for a long time are starting
Right.
to sell because
Yeah.
it's to the point where, well, if you sold it last year, and someone like me who's a dealer takes a 30% cut off the top,
Yeah.
you know, well now 6 months later, well that 30% cut is what you would have gotten for market price last year. So a lot of people are popping up. I mean, you wouldn't believe the amount of just like dual lands for sale on Facebook Marketplace and all this kind of stuff.
Well, your video basically is because during that shutdown in February, March of last year, I started going through the cards, thinking, well, let's see how much can I make.
Sure.
And I had my phone, and I was googling card prices, and I was like looking through and going, okay, this is worth $1, this is worth 10. Ooh, this is worth 30.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 hours later, I had a little stack of cards this big and a few $100s worth of effort, and I was like,
This isn't worth it.
I can't do this,
Yeah.
and when you sent me that video and I kind of ignored it and you sent it to me again, I said, let me sit down and watch this video. And you're like, Chase UG player, blah. I was like, what is this? And I stopped the video and went, holy cow.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing this wrong. I've been just like wasting my life.
Once you get the system down,
It made all the difference. It's the reason you're here today is that video.
Interesting.
Right? Like
Well, that's
realistically.
good to hear. I mean, that's why I made. That's
Yeah.
part of the reason why I made it.
Yeah.
But really, like, it's not to
Because I'd have been
necessarily
Googling cards for
collection.
6 more months.
Right.
And
you-
you made it to where I have the ability to sell this collection.
Right.
Like really.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad it's helpful. I mean,
Yeah.
that channel. My channel's small. It doesn't have many views. Doesn't have many subscribers. But
That's terrible. I like one of the videos I saw like 44 views. I'm like,
I mean, but I
that's-
didn't make it to be like a big YouTube channel.
No,
I
no.
made it so I could link people to it and be like,
Right.
here's how you grade cards.
Yeah.
Here's how you ship cards. Are you getting into it? Here's how you set up, like, the next couple of videos are going to be how to set up a store on TCG Player.
Yeah.
And how to, do all these little pieces of, if this is what you want to do as a side hustle or whatever,
Mhm.
or you just have an old collection you want to
Yeah.
sell, deciding what's right for you, like, do you want to sell it to a dealer? Do you have time to piece it out? What's your goal?
Yeah.
Because, like, if you did go through and piece all this out, well, at the end of 6 months, you're going to have a bunch of bulk. All your good cards will be gone.
Yeah.
And then you might get, you'll sell the rest of it for, like, maybe $100, $200.
Right.
But it's just about what you want out of it,
Yeah.
you know?
This is I mean, there's a lot of bulk here. There's some good stuff.
Of course. There always is.
Ice Age is where I'm like really heavy. Like that's where I started, and that's where I spent a lot of the money was on Ice Age.
That's funny. Ice Age is finally starting to value up now, too.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
mean,
It was worth nothing
Should
forever.
I keep the Jester's caps?
I mean,
'Cause
honestly,
those used to be like $20-$30, and now they're like $1 or something.
they
So,
valued up a little bit recently.
Did they?
I think they're like $5.
Crown of Ages.
Crown of
yeah,
Ages
then it
is
was
nothing.
like Icy Manipulator, Jester's Cap, Crown of Ages were like hot cards.
Icy Manipulator used to be like the
Yeah.
staple in mine and my brother's decks. We
Uh-huh.
always slotted in
Nobody
2 or
played
3
without
Ices.
those. Nobody played without those.
And
Yeah.
they're not played anymore.
Right.
I couldn't believe it. When I got back into I stopped in probably 02 or 03.
Yeah.
I played heavy from 95 to about 03. And then I stopped. I got back into it a little bit in like 2013, 2014, 2015.
Mhm.
And then I stopped for a couple years and I got back into it in 2018. And when I came back in 2018, I always played kitchen table Magic.
Yeah.
Never did tournaments, didn't know about Commander. It was just like whoever lived in my house and we would just slap decks together and
Right.
play.
Yeah.
And when I got back and really started getting into it, I was like, what, people would laugh at me with Icy Manipulator in the deck. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is a great card. They're like,
Right.
nobody plays with that card anymore. I mean, this stuff is just overpowered.
That was the one I could find.
Oh, that's awesome.
I had the whole. I had the Vanguard box.
Oh, that's.
They
I've
came
never
with, like,
seen the
10 of
box.
those.
I recently got some
And
sealed ones of these,
I
which is
have
crazy.
no idea where the rest of them are. I've gone down to the basement. I know that I've seen them within the last like 90 days.
Really?
I know like roughly what area of the basement they were in. And there's really just not that much stuff, but I've gone in there like 6 times in
And
the
you
last
can't find
10 days. And
I mean,
they're not there.
I think I have about 3 full sets. The only set I don't have is Vanguard set 3.
Uh-huh.
The second one, I've got a couple of them. The first one, I've got a couple of them. They're always. I keep them in my deck box,
Yeah.
in my like deck case,
Mhm.
and then whenever I go play with people, I pull them out, and they're like, "What are
these?
those?"
Yeah.
I'm like, these are awesome.
They're pretty cool. You know,
Pick
you
them
just
randomly, and
flip them over,
Yep.
shuffle them,
Yep.
hand it out. And
after a couple games, people are like, "These are awesome.
Somebody
How,
gets
how have I
married.
never known?"
somebody gets Miri,
Sweet.
somebody gets a Sliver Queen.
Yep.
Um,
This one's cool. This is
That's
Portal Three Kingdoms Chinese,
Japanese.
Japanese.
Yeah, so I do have a little bit of foreign stuff. Not quite
Interesting.
sealed.
Yeah, not quite sealed.
Not
That's
quite
so
sealed.
cool though.
There's
awesome.
some Japanese cards and like one Italian Mirage box.
I honestly don't keep any foreign, but I know a guy who's a good customer of mine, and
Right.
he just gets all my foreign stacks up, and then when it gets to a point, I'm like, usually every month, I'm like, hey, you want some pictures of foreign cards? He's like, yep, send them all to
send
me.
them Sure.
So it's always nice to have an outlet. What is this box?
So that was I bought a complete set of the Dark.
Oh, really?
That isn't it. But there is on this table you have a complete set of the Dark.
Oh, really? That's
Somewhere.
awesome.
Somewhere.
I just sleeved up my second full set.
Yeah.
I'm a set collector.
Right.
Most
yeah,
people
I know
these
you
days
mentioned
don't.
that in one of the videos.
Yeah, most people these days don't do it.
It was
oh,
cool.
this is
that was
Slivers.
cool back then. Oh yeah, that's the slip because I remember I was standing
Yep.
around the Slipper Squad. So, so the organization that I have here.
Yeah, let's talk about that. What's
Is here, let me
Yeah.
over this one. All right. There it is. So that's land. That's land.
cool?
You just set those aside, and you know whatever happens with those. What happens with those. Okay, box one is this is the big stuff.
This is the big stuff.
That's-
Okay, let's take a look at this.
That's
Box
the top
one.
tier.
I like that it says
Right.
box one.
Well, because that's how I saved them in my little scans.
Right. Oh, I got you.
Was I named them so I would have some sort of reference.
All the auras of silence
Yeah.
in existence. That's
Right, yeah,
awesome.
all of them.
That's so good. Ooh, opalescence, swords, cataclysm.
Where's the
Couple foes.
other box?
Couple force of wills. I think I need.
Yep, you got a couple of
I
those
need
in
some more
there.
of those.
Yeah, you definitely got a couple of those in there.
I'm a blue player, so
This stuff is so much fun too.
you know it's so funny. You're either a blue player and you love it, or you're not a blue player and you hate it.
Blue players.
Or, yeah, and you hate
I
blue
wrote
players.
down.
Oh, this is great.
I really wrote on the side of these boxes so that I wonder if I pieced them out when I redid everything. Oh, that's weird.
Is there?
Not
That says
looking for writing on the edge here.
Oh, really? Huh. What is it supposed to say? Like box two?
One of them says dark. One of them says 4/7.
Nope.
This is all the revised stuff. Well, most of the revised stuff, I think. Huh.
Huh.
Am I completing this? Did I like lose a box? It's impossible. It was just like in pen on the side.
Maybe it's on the bottom?
Could be under the flap. Hold on. Ah, here we go. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. So this is
Nice condition.
a lot of dark stuff here. This is like the 4/7 good stuff. Here's a mix, and this is the unglued good stuff.
So is this the dual lands and all that kind of stuff in
Yeah,
here?
yeah. So that's gonna have all the dual lands.
I'm assuming they'll be at one end or the
I
other.
think this is just this is part of the Black Border bulk. That's all bulk. You're not gonna have to spend a whole lot of time on that. I don't think.
Gotcha. Did you scan every single card?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just
no.
wondering. I was gonna be like, props to you, dude.
Yeah, no. I mean,
This is
yeah,
beautiful.
I know, right?
It's like I mean, there's just a hair of clouding on the bottom,
Yeah.
but like this thing is beautiful.
What do you mean by clouding?
Like these old foils, they see if you hold it in the
Sort
light,
of
right, you
grayish.
can just see just a touch. Like, but otherwise it's beautifully crisp. I mean, they're just so hard to keep in good condition.
Yeah.
But yeah, some old school.
But yeah, this is all gonna be pretty bulky. Yeah, run that.
Let's look at that. Look at that. Foil replenish. Whew. That's sexy. Old school foils are my favorite. This is actually one of my favorite parts of the collection.
Oh yeah.
I
The
have-
lens?
well,
Snappy
Lotus
lens
veils.
or Lotus veils, yeah.
I have a binder with like 35 Lotus veils in
Okay.
it. It's just one of those cards that I love, and I just used to pick them up whenever I could, whenever they're, I found one for a decent price. Looks like some mazes. Oh, here they are.
Who knows what some of this like? Yeah, they're in there.
Yep. So how many duels are total?
There's 13 or 14, I think.
Where is that?
Yeah, I got one of those for you.
Ooh, these Badlands are rough.
Yeah, they're not in super.
You played with them with
Oh,
no
I used
sleeves
them.
on the concrete back in the day,
Not
didn't
on
you?
concrete. No.
Yeah, those Badlands are rough. The undergrounds aren't terrible. Moderately played. We might need to look at pricing a little bit on the duels,
That's okay.
just for condition wise.
Yeah.
Because the low pulls from LP. So if it's under LP, we'll
Okay.
go into the app on the backside,
Okay.
and we can look at what the moderately played lowest
Okay.
listed is, which is the same as
Yeah.
the Trop looks nice.
Yes.
The Trop's a nice like LP. I'm just gonna set aside the ones that are rough. It's not gonna affect the price too much, especially right now. But what I have noticed right now with the spikes is they're hitting LP, or they're hitting LP and near mint the most.
Mhm.
Near mint's got a huge premium. I think near mint underground seas right now are like $1,200 to $1,300 a
Wow,
piece,
that's ridiculous.
which is insane.
Oh,
Let's see. The only thing I'm really going to look at condition on is the large stuff, the
Right.
$100 plus things.
What else is in here?
Everything else is, it's going to shake out to roughly LP overall. I can tell just by looking at your collection. Oh, you got Mana Short?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yep. I bought that one. I hunted that one down.
Really?
Mana Short is a cool card.
It is a
looks
cool card.
It does a cool thing. And when I saw somebody like, and this is like, we're talking like 96, time frame probably is when I
Sure.
got it. But I kind of had my eye on one and found it and bought it and,
It's awesome.
used it.
I don't have one yet. I don't have a beta Mana Short yet.
Now you do.
Now I do.
Well,
I've,
soon enough.
Yeah, soon enough.
Soon enough.
As soon as we do the handshake and the
Sometime before
Money
midnight,
maker.
probably, right?
yeah, I actually have to do another deal at midnight tonight.
Oh, wow, where?
It's actually a guy who lives in North Carolina, and his family just happens to be up here right now, and we've been trying to coordinate. And I was like, well, I'm going up to DC. He's like, I'm actually going to be in DC area on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And he just called me a little bit ago. He's like, I'm not going to be there till like midnight or so. I was like, that's fine, dude. We can.
That's fine.
Yep.
Meet your neighbor for dinner in DC. But you'll live in North Carolina.
Uh huh. Badlands are rough. Everything else is looking decent. There's 1 HP. Underground.
Yeah, so I had a black and blue deck. that
Oh.
it wasn't very good, but I really liked playing it. It had every kind of Tim, basically.
Really?
Yep. So tap for 1 damage, Tim. The pirate ships. But then I used Twiddle and Chain Stasis to untap them all.
Really?
So the idea was that you get a few of those out, you tap them for 5 points of damage, then you untap them,
Right.
do 5 more, and end your turn.
That's awesome.
And because I'm not going to attack or block, there wasn't a lot. But yeah, it was just they're really. I was never like a fast deck player. I liked slow decks that like did weird things.
That's how I play too. I like a lot of creature interaction and like well, I did have, I would say this is a creature interaction deck. I had a blue and red deck back in the day that used Dance of Many, Reigns of Power, Evacuation, Lightning Bolts, and counter spells. And essentially I would just burn your face, counter stuff that I couldn't really interact with, and then when you got a really nice big board state, I'd either return them all to your hand to make you discard them, or I'd take them all over with Reigns of Power
Wow, yeah.
and attack you at end of turn. So I'd like, usually it worked okay sometimes,
Yeah,
but
beating someone with their own arm is always fun, right?
yeah, it's my brother did not enjoy that very much.
This is, I think this. I mean, this is just a common.
Common unglued.
This is all the common unglued, so that's just the other thing.
That's awesome. I actually am slotting up a unglued set right now, and then
I don't know what the
those all
world
were banned.
is doing with these.
I mean, I just have been stacking them up.
Yeah,
I don't really sell them because you can't sell them anywhere.
That's crazy,
And
isn't it?
yeah, it's insane.
Crusade was a popular card.
And it's still, I mean, it's still in a bunch of like
Yeah.
old school white weenie decks and whatnot like that. But and you said this is bulk.
So this is all the bulk. This is there's probably some decent. I don't know how you feel about things, right? This is going to be like all of the dark. There's some decent lands in here
Oh, got you.
and those things, right?
Okay.
This is just a random thing that I found when I was going through this. I think I pulled these out.
Just
So yeah, these were just things I pulled out as I was going through.
random stuff. Yeah, it just looks like a mix of.
This is all should be all the Fallen Empires.
Ooh, the best set in Magic.
It is. It is. I don't know why anybody likes ballads and saprolings.
That's
But
true.
that's. Let me see here. There's. Yeah, this is going to be all that like. I don't know what this is.
Just mid '90s
Just
stuff.
a bunch of. Yeah. I had
Yeah, I rooted through it a little bit. Like there was some Ice Age, there was some Fallen, there was some Mirage.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if there's anything to pull out of here or not.
Well, because I'm a
But some
set
of this
collector,
stuff is-
most
some
likely,
of this is good for sets, right?
right. Yes,
Sure.
and so a lot of what I'll do first is I'll go through and I have one Tempest set that needs just a couple cards left. I have one
Okay.
Stronghold set that needs a couple cards left.
There's a decent amount of Tempest here.
I noticed there was a few. Oof. You used her back in the day, huh?
I must have.
With the Badlands, I'm assuming she was friends
I
with them.
must have. No, you know what? I think that I might have just picked that up in this condition
Really?
because it's a 7 casting cost 7/4 with no ability.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Vanilla.
Yeah.
Vanilla 7/4. Brain Geyser.
Yep. There's a few of those in there.
Look at that beat up invisibility.
Yeah.
That's awesome. There it is, Dance Mini.
Yep.
Psychic Allergy. Man, your collection is awesome. Already, I love it. I'm gonna have so much fun going through it.
Yeah. There's
So good.
tutors. There's a bunch of tutors in there
So-
overall.
Collections that go from 94 to 98, there's always so many tutors.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Because they were uncommon.
And
So,
they
like,
were popular, like they
Yeah.
were so useful back in the day.
and you'd have them in all the decks,
Yeah.
all your decks.
They were definitely, So, I mean, yeah, this is all. I don't know if you spend any time on that.
I mean,
Just
honestly, I'm
eyeball
not
it.
going to spend too much time on any of it.
Yep.
It's your collection. The duels are here. We
Yeah.
can grade them. We'll go. We'll talk about pricing. We'll look at the list. Just make sure everything looks kosher and we're not missing anything.
Okay.
We'll get the deal done.
Cool.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right, rock and roll. Let me just turn this on.